What are orders? Are you with me? We're trying to start our last topic on the accounting for short-term decision, which is accepting or rejecting orders. So my question is, what are orders? What are orders? Okay, we have Basin Sarah working for GNPC. GNPC, do you usually have orders? Basin, are you with me? I want us to put this in practical, life, which is going to be very, very useful for our professional career, because, like I said, accounting is, it's a real life subject. Very interesting if you understand the concept. Okay, so I am just trying to choose the people who are working according to the register. I know Yasin Cham works for MOFA, and government don't deal with any orders. Bindu works for Nana. Nana also kind of provides services, but I know GNPC is in the business of placing orders, isn't it? So Basin, are you with me? Basin Salah, are you with me, Basin? Basin does not seem to be with me. Right. So let me look at someone else. I saw somebody who works for GPPC. Ansu Kinte. Ansu, what is GPPC first in the first place? What is GPPC? Ansu? Sorry, Abdullah Kinte. Abdullah, are you with me? GPPC. Maybe that's another government institution, but I know there is.
I think it's Gambia Printing or Public Printing Corporation.
Exactly. Good. Gambia Public Printing Corporation. Exactly. That's a very good example that we can. Where is Abdullah Kinde? Abdullah, are you with me? Abdullah? Come on. Do people just register and then they go away? Or what? Let me check whether Abdullah is with me. I have 29 people here.
Mr. Fofana?
Yes.
Some of us were not able to register. It was indicating that we should sign in.
Yeah, what you'll do is you will just send your name to me on the main forum, then I'll just add it to the register after class. So don't worry about it, okay, after class. Abdullah Kinder seemed to be with me, but I don't know whether he's not hearing me or what. Okay, so I will just pass and then go to someone else. I want us to give life to this. There is someone who works for GTSC. I think that's the Transport Corporation, yeah? Fatu Khan? Fatu? Fatu, are you with us? Fatu?
Yes, Mr. Fofana.
You are with us, yeah?
Yes.
Good. Very good. Yes. GTSC. I know you are in the business of providing services, isn't it?
Yes, of course.
Excellent. So, if you are in the business of services, can you receive orders from customers?
Yes, we receive like in the case of when someone wants to hire a bus.
There you go. There you go.
Like a booking. You come and hire the boss. You're given an invoice, and then when you pay, then we provide the service.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. So when people need bus service, like if they want to go for gamos or if they have special programs, they can place an order. So placing an order doesn't mean it has to be live products only, but even services.
Even services as well. And then you ask also GNPC.
Okay.
We also place orders with GNPC with regards to fuel. So when they deliver, and then we pay at a later date.
Very
and
good.
also with GPPC as well.
Very good. Very good.
Printing Publication Corporation. Yeah.
Good, good, good. So that's a good example. Thank you for that, Fatu.
Okay.
We still cannot get Abdullah Kinte? No. Okay. So we'll go back to the printing. Sorry, I think it's Abdullah Kinte. Yeah, Abdullah Kinte, yes, according to the register. Right. So for the printing corporation also, I think that's a very, very good example because that refers to production. And, actually, happily, this happened to be my first job when I started my career. I used to work for Daily Observer in those days. We don't only publish newspapers, but we used to do commercial printing as well, just like the Gambia Public Printing Corporation. We do very similar jobs. Okay, so in their own case, if, for example, customers want, printing of magazines, or books, or birthday invitations, or in some cases, Christians will request for funeral, invitations or funeral cards and so on and so forth. Okay, so they'll place an order. Okay, so what we are supposed to do as accountants is when a customer places an order, how do we charge this customer? We have to put into consideration our knowledge of relevant costing. Otherwise, we may make the organization lose the customer because we are going to overprice the customer. Naturally, if you overprice the customer, what's going to happen is he's going to go to your competitor. Is this clear? So this accepting and rejecting orders is very, very, very important. Okay? Just like Fatu rightly says, well, fortunately for them, or unfortunately, I don't know, but there are transport companies coming anyway. So if those transport companies come, you will have competitors naturally. So if you overprice your customers, what's going to happen is you're going to lose them, and then they'll go to other small transport companies. But I know for your own case, in terms of bus services, you kind of monopolize the market, at least for now. Okay? So, but for printing services, there are a lot of printers, in town. So this accepting or rejecting orders is all about your knowledge of relevant costing in order to price orders so that you'll be able to know which orders can be accepted, which orders may not be accepted. So they will rely on you as the accountant. So don't think that if you go there, you'll only be preparing invoices. The accountancy work in the Gambia sometimes is not challenging, unfortunately, because they don't challenge accountants. They will be there maybe preparing vouchers, preparing invoices, for both companies like that. I'm sure in your own case, Fatu, if they require such services, they'll just go to maybe the engineering department. They'll not consult the head of, I don't know, maybe they do, but they may not consult to help them with the costing and so on and so forth. Because if a non-accountant does the costing, he may kind of overprice the customer. Okay? So in accepting or rejecting orders, what we look for is the incremental revenue from the order. if I place this order, what revenue am I going to get? Compared to if I accept this order, what cost I'm going to incur. For example, in the case of the bus company, if you place an order, if a customer places an order, the first thing you look at is the revenue you're going to get from the customer. Okay, that's if he agrees to a price. And you will look at your own costing also. So your costing will inform the price that you're going to charge the customer. So your costing should be based on relevant costing. You must not include anything that is irrelevant, like sunk cost or notional cost and so on and so forth. Okay, as accountant. So please take this advice. So the other factors that we consider in accepting or rejecting orders are this. First, you have to consider whether there is an alternative, more profitable way of utilizing spare capacity. Because what's going to happen is if a customer places order, you can either say, okay, I'm going to go ahead with this order, or I'm going to outsource it. So if in case you advise management to outsource this order, what's going to happen is you'll have spare capacity. That means you will have some machine, operating times, that this is times that's available for machines to be utilized. What are you going to do with those spare capacity? They'll be wasted. Okay, and also you have to consider, will fixed cost be unchanged if the order is accepted? Because mind you, your rent will always be there to wait for you in case you are also using other people's machinery on a rental basis. That cost will also be there for you, whether you produce or not. Those are fixed costs that you'll have to incur. And the production staff also, if you pay them on monthly basis also, you still have to pay them, whether you accept the order or you reject the order. Okay? And also, will accepting the order at below normal selling price lead other customers to ask for price cost. So you need to be careful. If a customer comes, to request for your boss services, and you give them a price that is lower than the normal price, okay, or the customer comes and places an order for books, you give them a price that is normal, that's lower than the normal price. Customers sometimes talk to each other, so they'll go and inform the others. So if the orders come, you want to give them a price that is higher, they will definitely not accept that. So you have to be sensitive to some of these factors that you need to consider. Okay, so we're going to look at two flow charts that we need to consider when we are supposed to accept or reject orders. So we'll have two flow charts, which will be the material and the labor cost flow charts. Okay, so this is the one for the material cost flow chart. Okay, so in the material cost flow chart, what we mean is, if the order that has been placed is going to involve a manufacturing process, like in the case of the printing company. Okay, if a customer places an order for printing of books, you're going to ask yourself, what materials I'm going to use? So the basic materials that you're going to use for the printing of the books will be paper and ink. So you ask yourself, is the material in stock? Do we have some paper in stock? Or do we have some ink in stock in order to print this customer's books? Do we have it in stock? If the answer is no, that means if you don't have paper or ink in the stock, what do? In order to implement that order, you have to buy it. So if you buy it, you're going to buy it purposely for this order. Therefore, that purchase price is relevant. Relevant meaning that's a cost that has to be passed to the customer if you have to do the order. Okay, is that clear? So if the material is available in stock, our example, paper and ink, for example, if they are available in stock, then you ask yourself, is the paper and ink in constant use? Do we use them constantly? That means, do we do printing most of the time and we use paper and ink? If the answer is yes, then that means if you use the current stock, you'll have to replace it, isn't it? And as such, the replacement cost will be a relevant cost. So if you use the paper, naturally, it won't be wise for you to buy paper again when you already have paper in stock, isn't it? So you will use the paper there, but then you have to replenish it. So that replenishment cost, you have to factor that, you have to budget that as part of the cost for this order. Is that clear? That is if the material or the ink or the paper we are talking about is in constant use. Okay? We're going to replace it, and replacement cost will be a relevant cost. That means we're going to pass that cost to the customer. So if the material is not in constant use, okay, so we ask another question. Is this particular material difficult to get? Is it scarce? Is there a shortage of paper in the market? Shortage of ink in the market? If no, then that means these materials will, of course, gather dust there for a long time because there is no shortage. Okay? So that means nil value. That means you don't charge the customer any material cost because this material is there. Okay? But let's say you want to buy new materials and then you have to dispose of this material because of this order, then the disposal cost will be a relevant cost. Okay? Because this material we are talking about is like it's useless. It's available in stock, it's not scarce, and it's not in constant use. You understand? But if the material is a scarce material, then opportunity cost will come into play. Okay? So this is the material cost flow chart. This is very, very important, and you can apply this in your service industry also. Okay? If you have to take your bus, if you have to use your bus, what material? Of course, you're going to use material. In your own case, Fatu, you will have to buy fuel, isn't it? You have to buy fuel. So you have to buy oil also. So you have to calculate the amount of fuel that you're going to use, you know, and of course the oil and so on and so forth. Okay, the things that will actually happen. But if you want to consider your depreciation, you want to put all those things there, you're going to overcharge the customer, and then the customer, you may lose him. Okay? So, naturally, if you have to place an order for production or for service, there are mainly two things, material and the labor. So, we've looked at the labor, now we're going to look at the material cost. Okay? So, we have the material cost flow chart. Sorry, labor cost flow chart. We've just dealt with materials. So, same example. That's our bus company, our GTSC, and also our printing company. Right. This customer wants to print books or wants to use your bus service. Then you say, is the labor in permanent employment? The drivers that I'm going to use to take these people around to their Gamo or whatever, are they drivers that are on our payroll that we have to pay them monthly whether they work or not? The printers that we're going to use to print these books, are they people that are on our payroll that we pay them monthly whether they work or not? Do you understand? You understand where I'm coming from? Okay? So these are real life examples of it that are very, very relevant that we can apply. This is so important for you. Okay, so if the people that are going to work on the order are not on permanent employment, then that means what do? This is very common in the West. You'll have to get them from somewhere else. In the UK, we call them agencies. You know, there are workplaces that are called agencies. And what those agencies do is they have temporal, you know, employees that work for them. And if a particular company say, I need staff to do X, Y, Z, then they will allocate you to go and work there for a couple of days or a couple of hours. And that company will pay the agency, and then the agency in turn will pay you. The agencies make a lot of money out of us. You know, I remember when I first went to the UK, I used to work for a catering agency. You know, it was tough. You know, it's not easy. So, you know, the agency will call you once you register with them. They'll say, okay, we have a work for this place. I remember my first work was in a place called Blackwater, or whatever they call it. I think I forgot the name now. And it was for chicken porter, you know, chicken porter. I mean, what we were kind of, you know, doing was collecting plates and making sure the plates are washed and they're cleaned, the cooking pots and so on and so forth. You know, so sorry, let me not reveal all the secrets here. So that is it. So if the labor is not in permanent employment, you need to seek it from somewhere. I think there are work agencies in this country here, isn't it? There is a cleaning company called. Do you know the company? Do you know what I'm referring to? There's a cleaning company called. Is it Lala Cleaning? Are you with me?
Yes, Mr. Fofana. There is also Settle Cleaning as well.
Okay, Carbon Clean, exactly.
Settle
Those
Cleaning.
ones are called agencies. Okay, so let's say your organization, you know, I mean, needs such services. You don't have to employ them permanently, but you can, you know, refer to those people and then they can give you. So if the labor is not in permanent employment, then that means we have to get it, the cleaner, for example, we have to get it from certain clinic or Lala clinic. And naturally, the hourly rate we're going to pay to those people will be a relevant cost, and then we have to charge the, how to call it, the customer. The cost has to be passed to them. Okay? So if the labor is in permanent employment, that is on your payroll, whether he works or not, you have to pay him. You ask yourself, is the labor fully utilized? These people that I want to use on this particular job, they are on my payroll. I have to pay them whether they work or not. But are they fully utilized? Fully utilized means, are they given enough job for all the hours they work for during the day? And this is a problem in this country. I don't know of any company that, you know, the staff are fully utilized. There's a lot of idle time in this country, which is unfortunate. I mean, people go to work. Some, if they come first thing, what they do is, well, not only the ladies now, even the men have, you know, become victims of this. They'll move from one table to the other, you know, gossiping, you know, about maybe the burning issues or talking about politics. Or some, the first thing they do is they will log onto their Facebook page or WhatsApp page or whatever you call it, social media. Okay? So those are waste. Okay? And some people will be on the phone, you know. So labor is not fully utilized in our own case. But in the West, if you are being hired to work for 8 hours, they will ensure you work for that 8 hours, no matter what. You'll have your breaks, you'll be entitled to your breaks, but then the period they're going to pay you, you must work. So mostly they don't have this issue of labor being fully utilized, but in some situations it can happen. So if the labor is if the labor is not fully utilized, that means that these people that are going to work on this order, the driver that I'm going to use to transport these people for their GAMO, he's on my payroll. Whether he takes these people for the GAMO or not, I'll still pay him. So do you have to pass that cost to the customer if you want to be prudent in your costing? No, you're not supposed to do that. Whether the driver takes them or not, you'll still pay the driver the same amount of salary. Okay, so if you add that cost, your price will not be competitive. In the case of a printing company, the printers that are going to work on the books, okay, if they are on your payroll, okay, you must not pass the cost to the customer. Okay, so that's why if the labor is not fully utilized, nil value. Don't charge the cost to the customer. Don't charge the cost to the order. Okay, so if the labor is fully utilized, that is in a situation whereby all the drivers are engaged, fully engaged, or all the printers are fully engaged, then you ask yourself another question. Is overtime possible? Okay, if the driver has to take these people for Gamo, and we don't have any drive, all the drivers are occupied. So overtime means we're going to ask them to work. Let's say they work during Monday to Friday. If it is going to be weekend, then that will be overtime. So if overtime is possible, in some institutions, overtime is not possible. Like in my own institution, SDF, we don't pay overtime. It's not part of our policy. Okay, and I know in a lot of institutions it's there. So if overtime is not possible, okay, if overtime is not possible, what's going to happen? Opportunity cost is relevant. If overtime is not possible, then that means you have to subcontract to another organization. If your staff are not going to work overtime to take the people for the Gamo, okay, maybe you will take the order and then use maybe another organization staff. You're going to pay them, so that's the opportunity cost. The benefit that is foregone. Okay, if overtime is possible, then that means the overtime you're going to pay to the staff is relevant and it should be charged to the order. Okay, so this is the way orders are costed. This is the way we accept or reject orders in terms of these two main items. Naturally, most orders will have these two components, the material and the labor. So we have a short question to do. Let's do that and then we call it a day. Please, let's do that. We call it a day. Okay. Maybe in the next 15 minutes will be okay. All right. Yes. Are we together? Any questions, please? Do you understand the concept of accepting or rejecting orders? Do you? Do you understand it?
Yes, you understand.
Okay.
Yes,
okay.
sir.
Okay. Excellent. Okay. Right. So we're going to off this one. And we're going to send the spreadsheet, same short-term decision making. Okay. So I'm going to do another worksheet. So add worksheet. Then I'll just double click on it. Then I'll call it EG11 Phantom. EG11 Phantom. Okay, so that's the name of the question. Right. So let's look at the question. This is the question we have, I think, on the last page, Phantom. Okay, I'll read it quickly, then we can answer it. It's a very simple question. And like I said, example 12, which is tricks, you will have to do that, you know, as your assignment, as part of your assignment, okay? As part of your assignment. So what I'm going to do is I'll be looking at your previous works. So I'll give them an average of certain amount, some marks, and then this will be added to it. So this will not be your full 25 marks. Okay, this will not be your full 25 marks. I'm going to decide, maybe this will be 15, and then your previous works will be a mark out of 10. You remember we've been doing some assignments week, I've got record of them, okay? So that's what we're going to do. Right, so quickly I'll read this. Quantum Limited is considering whether or not to undertake an order from a customer. It is trying to establish the relevant cost of the order, okay? The order would require 3,000 kilos of material W. There are over 3,000 kilos already held in inventory. Is the material in stock? Is the material in stock? Yes, it's in stock. Okay. Material W is no longer in regular use. Is the material in regular use? No. So use your flow chart to answer questions like this. Material W is no longer in regular use by the company and could be sold for scrap at 1.5 per kilo. That's one option. It could also be used as a substitute for material Z, which is in regular use for making another product. Okay? Which is in regular use for making another product. Material Z can be purchased for £4 per kilo. To use material W as a substitute for material Z, conversion cost has to be £1.6 per kilo. Would have to be spent on the material W. 1 kilo of material W after conversion would be a substitute for 1 kilo of material Z. Skilled labor needed to fulfill the order would be specifically recruited for £50,000. Unskilled labor needed to fulfill the order will be transferred from another department. The cost of labor time, 3,000 hours, would be 30,000 in wages. However, 1,500 of these hours would be idle time if the order is not undertaken. The order 1,500 would be spent on work that would provide a contribution of 5,000. Okay, so this is the question, and I think you should all have the question before you. And the written part, I've already provided that, so there is no need for you to worry about that. It's on this slide. Okay, it's on this slide. So we're going to go through the calculation part, which is also very easy. Okay, so do you understand what the question is asking about? It's asking you to calculate the relevant cost of this particular order. You've been given a material aspect of it. You've been given the labor aspect. The labor has been divided into two, the skilled and the unskilled. Okay? So, the first part of it is about material. It says that the material that will have to be used will be what? 3,000 kilos. Okay? So, they are giving us information that they have over 3,000 kilos in stock. So our question is, the material in stock? What is the answer? Is it in stock? Is the material in stock?
Yes, sir, it's in stock.
It's in stock. So if it is in stock, we ask ourselves next question, is the material in constant use? Is the material in constant use? Okay, so let's read further. It says a material W is no longer in regular use. It has been stated. So that means the material is not in regular use.
19 hours.
So if it is not in regular use, what do? We ask ourselves another question. Is the material scarce? Okay, is the material scarce? So we have not been told that the material is not scarce. So naturally, we're going to assume that the material is scarce. If the material is scarce, that means we use opportunity cost. So they have given us two options that the material could be used for, which is the opportunity cost. One is What is the first one? What's the first one? Material W is no longer in regular use by the company and could be sold for scrap at 1.5 per kilo. So that's the first alternative. The second alternative is to use it as a substitute for Z. But if you use it as substitute for Z, you'll get 4, but then you'll incur a cost of 1.6. So you reduce the 1.6 from 4, then you compare that to the first alternative. Then opportunity cost, you use the higher. Okay? So naturally, the higher will be is 1.5 compared to 2.4, isn't it? So the opportunity cost will be 2.4 per kilo. Okay, so that's the first part. Then the second part is the skill level. We've been told that the skill level needed to fulfill the order will be specifically recruited for 50,000. So that means we don't have this. We have to get it outside. Then we have to charge the whole of the 50,000 to the order. Is that clear? Then the unskilled labor is divided into two parts. You have the idle time, and then the idle time is half, and then the useful time is another half. But then if they work on this, there will be a lost contribution of 5,000. So that lost contribution will be a cost, and the idle time will be 0, and then the actual time will be valid. So it's very, very easy. Okay. So you understand the explanation. The next slide will give you all this that we are talking about. So now let's do our calculation. Let's do our calculation, and we call it a day. It's already almost market. So I just say EG 11 and 2. Okay, and the statement will be called relevant cost statement. Relevant cost statement. Okay. So we can use this first box as our description, and the next one will be our amounts. We can format it. We just click on it. We go to format, number, and when we use the number formatting, or that will give us 2 decimal places. We don't want 2 decimal places. We want to decrease it to 0. So we click this twice so that it will give us 0 decimal place. Okay, so the first one we agreed is called material W. Okay. Material W, we are using what? The opportunity cost. And the opportunity cost is the higher of the two alternatives. The first alternative is to sell it for scrap at 1.5 per kilo. And the next alternative is to substitute it. If you substitute it, you get a unit revenue of 4, but then you will incur a cost of 1.6. So it's 4 minus 1.6. So what we're going to do is we have material W, that will be 300 kg. 3,000 kilos. So we're going to do our calculation here. How are we going to do our calculation? First, we will say equals. We calculate the 3,000 kilos, which is 3,000 multiplied by our opportunity cost, which is 2.4. Yeah, I've explained that to you, isn't it? 2.4. So that will give us 7,200 for material W. The next one is skilled labor. Skilled labor is, what is the skilled labor? What is the skilled labor?
500.
50,000.
50,000, exactly, because it's all relevant. Why we have to take the whole of the 50,000? Because they're going to get people from outside to do the work. So 50,000, we put the full 50,000. Okay, so the unskilled will divide it into two. We've been told that there is idle time. So even though it's going to be zero, but just bring it forward. Use of idle time. We all know what idle time is. Gossip time, Facebook time, chit-chat time, politics discussion time, and all these waste that we do at work. Okay? So idle time will be valid at zero. Okay? Okay? So we cannot charge the customer for that. So use of order time, that's the useful time. So we say use of order time. So that would give us half of the amount. Half of the time is what? 3,000 hours. They say half is idle time and half is going to be used for the product. So that will be 1,500. Okay, 1,500 hours at the rate. And what is the rate? The rate is what? What is the rate? The rate has been given because the 3,000 hours is going to cost what? 30,000 pounds. So half of 30,000 pounds will be idle and the other half will be a chargeable one. Okay, so that will be equals 30,000 divided by 2.
Divided by
so that is 15,000. Good.
Yes. What if you write the whole
No.
15,000 direct?
You have to show your working. This is like showing your working. Because if you click on it, if anybody wants to mark this, he's going to know that you know what you're doing. And even in case you make a mistake, you can get full marks for putting the formula there. It's just like in exam, if you have your workings, if somebody has got good steps with the working, even if the answer is wrong, sometimes you get full marks. Okay, or close to full marks. So you don't write 15,000, but use your formula. Is that okay? Okay. And the next one is the lost contribution. So the lost contribution, what's the lost contribution? We've been told that we're going to lose 5,000 if we accept this order. So that will be a cost to us, isn't it? So lost opportunity is 5,000. And then we have to calculate the total relevant cost. The total relevant cost would be, we do our sum formula, we say equals sum, bracket opens, we click on the starting to the end, we close the bracket, we enter. So the total relevant cost is 77,200. Okay, 77,200. I'm going to share this worksheet with you, like I said. Okay, so I'm going to write it here. Your assignment. Okay, your assignment. I'll copy and paste here. Right. So I'm gonna have them here. So you do example of, pick a tricks. Pick a tricks. So you do example 12, that is tricks. Okay, are we clear? You use Google Sheet. And share me as editor. So you use me as an editor. Okay. Make sure you do use formulas in all your calculations. Calculations are easier, to be honest. So use formula in all calculations. When do you submit? You submit latest the 11th of the 11th, 11th November 2020. Okay. So when you are sharing with me as an editor, use my UTG email account, which is lfofana. That's the one. Okay. So use my UTG account, lfofana@utg.edu.gm. Okay, so you share with me, you submit latest 11th of this. So you have to do calculations and you have to explain. Calculations and explanations. Okay. So that's what I require you to do. Yeah, is that clear?
Yes, Mr. Fofana.
Okay, excellent. So this is your assignment for you. Okay. I'm gonna use this. Right, where is my format? Let's put white. Make this blue. Okay, so is it clear, everybody? Is it clear?
Yes, it is, Mr. Fofana.
Okay, excellent. So I will cut this and I'll put it on the main forum as well. Okay, so right before I leave you, we just go through this last bit. Just 5 minutes, we are done.
Mr.
Yes.
Fofana?
So this is the written part of the question we just looked at. Like I was explaining, this is exactly what I explained, but you can look at it at the slide. So if you are answering questions like this,
Mr. Fofana, can you please check your mic?
my mic is okay.
I can't hear you.
You can't hear me. I can hear you loud and clear.
No, you just stopped. I can see that you're talking, but I can't hear you.
Okay. The rest of the class, are you hearing me?
For me, it is clear. I'm clearly hearing.
Yes, sir. We are hearing.
Yes, we are hearing.
Okay, Philomen, why not check your mic, because I think I'm loud and clear to everyone. Okay, check your mic, yeah. Right. So yeah. So like I was saying, this is the solution you can go through. I'll share this, and then that is it. So that's the end of the class for today. If you have any questions, we can use the last 2 minutes for that. Any questions, please, before we say bye-bye? Take note, tomorrow also we have class from 5 o'clock to 7 at the same time. Okay.
Hello,
Any
Mr.
questions?
Fofana?
Yes, sir.
Are we going to use our personal files where we do the other assignments to do this one also?
No, this will be a new file, separate file.
Okay.
It will be a new file, separate one. That's why I say you share with me, because if you do, you know, the main one, you know, already we have got too many files on that one already. So just create your own new Google Sheet and then share with me. As I say, use Google Sheet and share with me. So it's all going to be individual, and you share with me. It's going to have lots of files, but it's okay, right? Okay. So any more questions or any more contributions before we draw the curtain? Tomorrow, definitely we're going to move to accounting for long-term decision making. As far as I'm concerned, we are done with accounting for short-term decision making. Okay? So please make sure you pass the word around that we have an assignment that is to be done on this date. And this assignment is going to be part of what's going to be accessible to you. So the orders, the ones you've been doing before, I will definitely count them. Okay, I'll definitely count them. I'll decide how to do it. And maybe when we're doing accounting for long-term decision, I may give you another assignment also. So it will all depend, okay? So if there are no questions, I think we can draw the curtain here. I hope you've had a good time.
Sorry, Mr. Fofana, sorry for
Yes.
cutting. Today, I didn't think you got the assignment. Sorry, the recordings. If not, it used to be too long. I don't know. Maybe tomorrow you can consider that, huh? So that we can download it.
No. I've been cutting them. I think I made around five or so.
Okay,
So don't worry, you don't have to download anything. But the way I do it is easier. Instead, I upload it to YouTube. So you can just go to YouTube anytime, then you play it. When you play it in YouTube, it takes less of your megabytes than when you want to download. Downloading takes a lot of megabytes. Okay?
Yeah,
that's why I make it easy for you. I just upload it into YouTube so that you just go and play. If you play it on YouTube, you consume less megabytes. Okay? I hope this is the experience with most people. Am I right in saying that?
Yes, you are right.
Yes, you are right.
Yeah. So I think it's a lot easier. And the advantage with that is it's always there. It's always going to remain there. In case you want to revisit it again, you can always go back and visit it. Okay? So, I'm really sorry for taking this long, especially those who want to observe their prayers on time. I also like to do that, but sometimes if you take breaks, people won't come back and so on and so forth. So I'm really sorry. We'll try to, stop 7 o'clock sharp tomorrow, inshallah, as much as possible. So just make sure you observe your salah if you're going to do that before 5, so that at least we are all in, say, 10 minutes to 5, so that we can finish early. Okay. So we have tomorrow, and then on Saturday we can finish the syllabus and take our exams. I think that's a lot better for all. Okay. So thank you so much for your time, and see you tomorrow, inshallah.